NFL season.
I don't think that's an overreaction. I don't think we know because this is Aaron Rodgers. And if he announced in February he's decided to go to Mars, you'd be like, yeah, sure, maybe. The way that he thinks about his life, his place in the world, what he values, he's very connected to his own belief system.
The Rich Eisen Show from noon to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN Plus, and on Disney Plus. Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
There are very few players in the history of the NBA that we would say skipped steps when it comes to contending and winning a championship. Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. That's where we're at. And all of those guys are top 10 players all time. That's where this thing feels like it's trending with Wemby.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Aaron Rodgers is unemployed. If you're unemployed, you report to no one. This is on them. I love the Steelers as an organization. I've gotten to know the Rooney family over the years. You can't find better people than the Rooney family, but it's on them. You're allowing him for the second straight year to hold your franchise hostage.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 1061 ESPN.
Start your morning right with Ironclad Coffee Roasters and Baking Company, the official coffee of Fitz the Bill and ESPN Richmond. They have fresh artisan pastries made from scratch daily in their own in-house bakeries to go along with some of the best coffee in RVA. 3 locations, one in Shockoe Bottom, one in the West End, and one in Lynchburg. Check them out too online at ironcladcoffee.com. Fitz the Bill is powered by Ironclad Coffee Roasters and Baking Company each and every morning.
Richmond, it's time to get your morning going. Spicy Mom.
We are going to wreak havoc.
The only thing I am thinking about is the game.
Holy catfish! Touchdown, Seahawks!
Rashid Shaheed.
Richmond Sports Talk by Richmond sports fans.
This is Fitz the Bill with Jack Fitzpatrick.
All live from the capital of the Commonwealth,
where sharp analysis, your cause, and Richmond always come first.
If it's making headlines locally or nationally, we're breaking it down. Now, live from the capital of the Commonwealth, Fitz the Bill with your host, Jack Fitzpatrick.
Good Tuesday morning, June 2nd. Appreciate you clocking in, getting your day started with us right here on 1061 ESPN Richmond, the ESPN Richmond app, ESPNRichmond.com, streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. If you want to watch the stream, just type in ESPN Richmond. We should pop right on up and you can watch, like, comment, subscribe, do all of that fun stuff. You can also be part of the show by calling or texting in to the Radke Insurance phone line, 804-327-0888, radkeyinsurance.com to get started on your free quote today. Jasmine Wimbish from CBS Sports, she'll be joining at about 9:30 in hour number 2 to chat all things NBA Finals. And before we dive into NBA Finals, that's coming up in hour number 2. Man, hour number 1, it's going to be a lot of NFL talk because the NFL made some waves yesterday, which part of it was expected, right? It was June 1. We'd been hearing about one of these trades for the last, 6 months, really maybe 4 months, ever since the Super Bowl concluded. We'd been hearing A.J. Brown's going to the Patriots. It's done. It's signed, sealed, it's delivered. But nothing can be finalized until June 1 so they can rework the deal. They can split some of the dead cap money over multiple years. Blah, 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 blah. So we finally got the official confirmation on that deal yesterday. We'll talk about that. But then the blockbuster that came completely out of left field yesterday, The Rams, man. The Rams are going all in on 2026. They have pushed all their chips to the middle of the table. Les Snead, the originator of the blank them picks from a couple of years ago that brought them that first Super Bowl, well, looks like they're going back to that, doing it all over again. Not just a first-round pick, but a 2027 first-round pick, along with Jared Verse, a 2028 third-rounder, and a 2028 second-rounder, and a 2029 third-rounder. A lot of picks Les Snead is saying blank them to, and the Rams are going all in to win the Super Bowl this upcoming season. And they were already the favorites to win the Super Bowl, according to some betting sites. Now it truly makes them the favorites in the NFC. This stakes their claim at the top of the NFC because, look, every single year there is one question in the offseason that every single GM, scout, and coach is trying to answer. How do we beat the champions? And in this case, the Rams and the Seahawks, they clashed 3 times. Seattle won 2 of the 3. One of them, maybe they won by sheer dumb luck, with Zach Charbonnet picking up the football for the 2-point conversion when the play was thought to be dead. But whatever it might be, the Seahawks beat the Rams 2 out of 3 times. The Seahawks won the Super Bowl. So the question this offseason for Los Angeles has been, how do you beat the Seahawks? And Sam Darnold, every single year of his career, even last year when he won a Super Bowl, right, he struggles with pressure. His PFF grade decreased by 41% when he was pressured, from a 91.0 PFF offensive grade when he was kept clean, drops all the way down to 51.9 when he is pressured. Of course, Seattle isn't the only team to worry about, but they are the team to worry about. They are the number one team. So, of course, all the moves that are done are with that in mind. And the Rams, well, they bolstered their secondary. They've now bolstered their defensive line, and they're making moves that feel like they are targeting the Seahawks in order to beat them, which is the right moves to make, because not only did the Seahawks win the Super Bowl, they won the NFC West, and they're a team you play potentially 3 times in one season. You've got to get that blueprint down. And by adding Garrett to that defensive line, they figured that out, right? You've got Garrett now there, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, still in his prime, tail end, but still in his prime, who's coming off of a, by the way, setting the single season sack record, just casually. You've got Byron Young on that defensive line. He was the second best defensive lineman / edge in the NFC West last year, according to PFF defensive grade. Kobe Turner, the former Richmond Spider, 5th best defensive lineman / edge in the NFC West last year, according to PFF defensive grade. And Braden Fisk, the 20th best defensive lineman / edge in the NFC West last year. And, oh, by the way, bolstered their back end. Trent McDuffie has come over from the Chiefs. What'd they do? They made McDuffie the highest paid cornerback in the NFL after making that trade. The Rams, a team that, created the greatest show on turf at the turn of the new millennium, you typically think of them as a great offensive squad. They might be the best defensive unit in the NFL next year. The Texans and Seahawks are going to be hard to take down, but with the sheer talent LA has on that defensive line and now in the back end as well across the entire defense, they might go down as the best defensive unit in the 2026 season. And McVay and Snead, they saw how the league was moving. The league has moved away from great offenses and it's moved to great defenses. The Seahawks won the Super Bowl because they had a unique defense that shut opponents down. And let's face it, they had a middle-of-the-road offense with a slightly above-average quarterback. I'm not putting Sam Darnold in any top 10. I'm a realist. I understand what he is. And McVay and Snead saw that. They've already got a Hall of Fame quarterback in Stafford. They've got a good receiving core with Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. They've got a good running back room. Kyron Williams leads the way there. Blake Corum, he's right behind him. They've got a good enough offense to win a Super Bowl. They saw that you need an elite level defense, and they went and they did that by getting McDuffie and then yesterday getting Myles Garrett. And in the most Rams-like fashion, they are moving ahead of the league now. They're moving to become a better version of what the league meta is, faster, because they're okay with trading picks. This version of Myles Garrett, a 30-year-old Myles Garrett at the tail end of his prime, is still greater than what that first rounder will be next year. Let's say 75% of the time. Like, you are getting a better player than what you would have gotten with that first round pick. The Rams are smart. They don't overvalue draft picks. They understand that the rest of the league overvalues draft picks. And so the Rams prey on that, use draft picks to go get stars right now. And it may seem a little brash. It may seem a little aggressive, but it's the right move. And I love that this front office does it. It pains me as a Seahawks fan, but amazing team building by the Rams yesterday, Alan. And they gave up Pro Bowler Jared Verse, 2027 first, 2028 second, 2029 third. The Rams get 2-time player of the year, Myles Garrett. It's not often I say both teams won this trade, but Alan, I think both teams won this trade. I think this makes the Rams these Super Bowl favorites. They are the team everyone else has to get through, and it sets the Browns up for success a little ways down the line. Jared Verse fits their timeline a little bit better. And now they've got multiple first-round picks in next year's draft, the draft that everyone has targeted as the draft if you need a quarterback. A grades for both of these teams out of this trade.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the trades. I'm very high on Jared Verse. I don't think there's anybody that you could put over Myles Garrett. So, like, to me, that's kind of a push. You got to throw in the first round. Yeah. I mean, you're going for Myles Garrett. Jared Verse is definitely a caliber player that, you know, the draft picks that were given are accurate, right? Like, you're getting a Pro Bowl caliber player to replace an all-time great, and you're getting a first round pick. I think that was compensation enough. I know some people had questions about the draft picks, but like Jared Verse, like you're a numbers guy. It's like a 8% difference, which is a lot, but still, he's only in his like second or third season. But it's like an 8%.
He's going into year 3, still on his rookie contract. He's extremely more cheap than Myles Garrett.
Rookie contract. The 8% difference in pressure rate isn't that substantial. And we've seen moments where Jared Verse, you can ask the Eagles offensive line. You can ask Terrion Arnold, I think, is one of the guys who went on record and said Verse made him retire early. He was like, dude, bull rush me. And I was like, man, I need to get out the league. I need to go sit down. So, like, the Browns are getting a special player, and the Rams are going all in. I don't know if I wholeheartedly agree with the approach per se. Is the thing about the Rams, they've drafted well, so they can be very casual about their picks. But my issue is I don't think this makes them a Super Bowl contender until we address the wide receivers, right? Like, their offense has taken a huge hit. We don't know when Puka's coming back. Devontae Adams isn't reliable. They didn't do anything to help Matthew Stafford. And if Matthew Stafford goes down, this whole thing collapses. And he's already coming in again with a bad back. And everybody's like, wait a minute. They got Myles Garrett. They're Super Bowl. They're the Super Bowl favorites. Like, I'm like, slow down a little bit. Well, let me see some moves to help the offense, you know, and then we can go there. Because when you look at the Seahawks and Rams games, you never left those games saying, man, if they only had an edge rusher. We said if they only had some secondary help. Secondary help, which they got in Trent McDuffie. Yeah. You would say, oh, if only they had maybe a third wide receiver or something. Yeah. There is valid pushback there. My pushback on the whole thing where the house of cards comes tumbling down if Matthew Stafford misses time, that is a very valid thing to say about this team. But you can say about everybody. But you can say that about everybody. And, like, there's not a backup quarterback in the league right now that you could put in behind Matthew Stafford. Justin Fields. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Chris Aladukin, the third string for the Chiefs that they tried to rely on last year. But, like, yeah, if Matthew Stafford goes down, they're screwed. But you could say that about the Chiefs last year with Patrick Mahomes, and it was true. Like, Puka Nacua, the wide receiver room is valid. But my whole point here is you don't need an amazing offense. You need an offense that's good enough. And with Puka, with Devontae, with Stafford, with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum, you've got a good enough offense that can take you to the promised land behind a defense that got better in the secondary this offseason and that just added an elite level edge rusher. And with Myles Garrett, he's such a good edge rusher. He takes down the average time to throw from, let's say, 2.7 seconds to 2.3 seconds. I know 0.4 of a second doesn't sound like all that much, but, like, that makes your secondary look better too. So this is
This is just a thing where you put in one variable and it fixes everything.
Yeah, I don't want people to get me wrong. Everybody knows how I feel about Myles Garrett. I'm a super fan of Myles Garrett. So I'm not knocking the trade. I just don't look at this as something that puts them in front of the Seattle Seahawks in my mind.
Crazy that I'm the one saying it.
I know, which shows that you're impartial. It's a great move. It's a move that I think makes them a little bit better. But I don't, if Seattle plays anything like they played last year, I don't think this gap closes.
That's fair. That's fair. See, Seattle's also relying on an aging DeMarcus Lawrence on their side of the football too. True. So there's a lot of variables. Here's the thing. The Rams know this season, 2026, is probably their last shot to win a Super Bowl with this current construction. And so they have gone all in on it.
And if the rumors are true and Aaron Donald does happen to pop back up at the facility, I take back everything I said.
Yeah,
they are Super Bowl contenders.
There's Rams fans out there going deep into his Instagram. And
he's been open about the idea of coming back. But Verse was his guy. Like, he was practically raising him.
Exactly. So I don't know about all that.
If that didn't bring him back, then I don't know if Myles would. But, I mean, honestly, you put two all-time greats together. God help us all.
Yeah, that would be
We got to play. Both our teams have to play him twice a year.
I was listening to Schefter, and he was talking about how Verse was the key trade piece in all of this.
Of course.
Where the Rams were trying to just give him draft picks and more draft picks and more draft picks to sweeten the deal.
Ridiculous.
And then the Browns were like, we're not trading Myles Garrett unless you give us Jared Verse. And the Rams were like, fine. And
I'm not going to lie to you. When I saw Myles Garrett was traded to the Rams, I was ready to shut down all my social media and give up on football because in the most Browns way, I just assumed they gave him away for picks.
Yeah.
And I was going to have to watch my team go against Verse and Myles Garrett at the same time, which is impossible.
Yeah, because Trent Williams, he had a bad day yesterday.
Trent Williams
Charles Cross, he had a bad day yesterday.
I was going to say, Trent Williams and Myles Garrett, I've watched that matchup, and I love my guy Trent, but he gets bullied.
Yes. And if you had put Myles Garrett, a guy who is, here's some of his stats, right? He's coming off of an NFL record 23 sacks last year. He had a 21% pass rush win rate
which is
a year
insane.
ago, sixth best in the NFL. He was chipped at the second highest rate in the NFL. And what's chipped? That's essentially like a tight end hitting him on the way to go into his route just to kind of throw him off of his timing a little bit. He was double teamed at the second highest rate among edge rushers. He was triple teamed at the fourth highest rate among edge rushers. And yet he has still been a first-team All-Pro in 5 of the past 6 seasons. He's recorded at least 12 sacks in each of the past 6 seasons, and he ranks second only to Micah Parsons in both pass rush win rate and pass rush wins over the past 4 years. So you are getting that on your defensive line. And then, oh, by the way, the Browns on the other side of this trade, they get a very good young edge rusher who fits their timeline a little bit better because let's face it, the Browns are still a year away from being a year away from being a year away. Like, they still got Deshaun Watson. They still have a bunch of question marks at quarterback. They're smart because they got an extra first-round draft pick in next year's draft, so they now have the ammunition to move up if need be. Say they have 4 wins next year, 5 wins next year, and they need to move up a spot or two. They've got some more ammunition to do that with this pick in their back pocket. And now they've got Jared Verse on the edge, who's a kid who had a 15.3% pass rush win rate, which was 17th out of 43 qualifying edge rushers over his first 2 seasons in the league. But where Jared Verse is great, where he is downright elite, he is an elite run stuffer. He ranked second last year in run stop win rate. Plus, he gets double teamed on 41% of his snaps, still on his rookie contract. This is a high upside, elite potential edge. Sure, he might not ever be an all-time great like Myles Garrett, but you're getting a future all-pro, multiple-time all-pro, and a first-rounder, and a second-rounder, and a third-rounder over the next 3 drafts.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's not that big of a drop-off where you're thinking you got hosed if you're the Browns at all. Like, the kid's good. Verse is legit.
And this is the first time since when was the last time we saw a player traded this like in his prime like this, like an all-time great in his prime?
Micah Parsons.
Oh, that's true. Last season, how could
but
I
he's
forget
not.
that?
He's not quite there yet with Myles Garrett, but I mean, he's on the trajectory.
He's on the trajectory. Yeah, that's a good. Man, the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys, which is funny because they were linked to Myles Garrett for a trade.
Yeah,
like they couldn't bring him home. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's anything that they could have offered that would have been sweeter than Jared Verse and
Micah Parsons.
Yeah,
that first, second, and third.
A Micah for Myles swap would have been comedy because Micah thinks he's better than Myles. So.
Yeah, that would have been. It probably wouldn't even been enough to just swap Micah for Myles. The Browns probably would have been like Micah and a third, and then that would have really hurt Micah's feelings. Because I was thinking like guys like Randy Moss was traded in his prime, an all-time great. Marshall Faulk was traded in his prime from the Colts to the Rams. Those were my mind went. I had completely I blocked out what happened last year.
Yeah, because it's just not something that we see a lot of in the NFL. But especially edge rushers, elite edge rushers are a premium. You usually let that contract expire, worst case scenario, and then they just go to free agency or something. You rarely see them get traded.
Yeah. Whew. Here we are now.
Yeah,
good for the Rams.
I'll have an answer for you on how you can stop Myles Garrett and the Rams.
Yeah.
At some point in the season, but right now on paper, I don't know.
When does the season end? The Super Bowl's on February 14th. I think you stop the Rams defense on February 15th when the season's over.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm not making any big claim right now. That's for later on in the offseason. But I don't know how you stop them at this point.
You can run a very hyper aggressive defense with the amount of guys you named in the beginning. On their defensive line, that's a deep rotation. You got aggressive physical corners on the outside, and you got a guy that generates pressure no matter how many bodies you put in front of him. Again, we might see one of the more aggressive defenses in the league. In fact, if I see any too deep looks, I'm going to get pretty upset.
Just
like, what are we doing? You've got Myles Garrett and company. Come on,
Myles Garrett, Byron Young, Kobe Turner.
Yeah,
those are going to be 3 of the 5 best edge rushers next year or defensive linemen in the NFC West.
Full
stop.
If you're Kobe Turner, man, you're ecstatic.
Yeah.
Not like Verse wasn't getting attention, but yeah, Myles Garrett is going to get constant attention.
And all of a sudden things have just opened up for the former Spider. For the what was it called? Commencement speaker.
Yeah.
I almost called it the inauguration speaker. Wrong event, the commencement speaker. But let's get a quick break in. Step aside. AJ Brown was also dealt. We of course have to talk about that. See how he's going to fit in New England. And look, I know I'm a Jalen Hurts hater. I try to remain impartial. I've got some thoughts on the future of Jalen Hurts in Philly, and I'm gonna take out some of my bias when it comes to it. I'm just reading the tea leaves with some of it. Reading the tea leaves, the future for Jalen Hurts, well, I don't think it's all that rosy in Philly. That's coming up next right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
106.1 ESPN on-air interviews presented by the Herman Allen Plumbing Heating and Cooling Hotline with Lennox products that make the air in your home absolutely perfect.
Golf season is here. Whether it's your first round of the year or the next round, make sure you're playing it at Hunting Hawk Golf Club. We're offering special pricing this summer on outings for civic organizations, churches, kids' athletic teams, or your own special fundraiser. Also, now is the time to start signing up for your fall golf outings. For more information or to book a tee time, give us a call at 804-749-1900 or visit online at huntinghawkgolf.com.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a hospitality manager at a 5-star hotel.
So I just checked into room 318, but someone was in there.
Room 318. Oh, you were supposed to be booked in 813, which is now booked.
So what do we do?
How about rock, paper, scissors for who gets the bed?
This is a job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
When it comes to plumbing, heating, and cooling services in Richmond, one name stands out above the rest: Gherkin. Gherkin's been a trusted name in the Richmond area for 50 years. Call now to schedule your preseason tune-up. Remember, if it ain't working, call Gherkin.
Professional truck and bus drivers train for thousands of miles. But even the best drivers need more space to maneuver their long vehicle around a tight corner. That's why trucks and buses swing wide before they turn. That space beside the truck isn't an opening. It's the room the driver needs to make the turn. So when a truck or bus swings wide, hang back. Give the vehicle room to turn. Stay clear, stay safe. America's pros rely on you. Paid for by FMCSA.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
1061 ESPN traffic.
Expect delays heading west on 64 between Mechanicsville Turnpike and 95. For those of you heading north on 95, we're seeing some backup between 64 and Hermitage, and again between 288 and Woods Edge. Whereas 95 southbound is seeing that congestion between Bryan Park Interchange and Arthur Ashe Boulevard.
1061 ESPN in your pockets. Download the app for on-demand shows, live updates, podcasts, and sports takes hotter than a game-winning drive. Your team, your way. Get it now.
At first, I was like, it's not St. Patrick's Day. What are we doing listening to this? And then shipping up to Boston. I was like, what's Boston? Oh, the Patriots. Forgot about the whole New England, Boston, Foxborough. You know what it is. Eagles are sending A.J. Brown up to Boston. The Patriots, in what was probably the worst kept secret in the NFL. There was a lot of subplots that have gone on around this trade as well. It's done. It's put to bed. The Patriots get a 2028 first round draft pick. That's important. And a 2027 fifth rounder. And the Eagles get that. The Patriots get AJ Brown. So, all right. Good stuff. Now we can move on. AJ Brown's traded. We all knew this was coming. No. So AJ Brown, we've talked about it a little bit, but the reason why it took until after 4 p.m. on June 1st is because now, instead of being a $43.515 million dead cap hit this season, it is a $16.353 million dead cap hit this year and $27.162 million dead cap hit next year. So they're able to just spread it out a little bit over the next 2 years. And A.J. Brown now officially is a New England Patriot, teaming up with Drake May and a wide receiver core that features Romeo Doubs, Mac Hollins, Kayshon Boutte, Pop Douglas. Of note, former JMU wide receiver and Richmond Spider wide receiver, Nick DeGennaro on the roster. He's going to be fighting for a spot on the 53-man or practice squad. And look, with some of those names that I just mentioned outside of A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs, good chance Nick DeGennaro finds himself on that roster, because that wide receiver core, I think, still leaves a little bit of something to be desired. I think Romeo Doubs is a good 2. A.J. Brown, of course, is a great 1. I don't know how I fully feel about Mac Hollins, Boutte, or Pop Douglas. And I wouldn't be shocked if Mac Hollins maybe gets cut. DeGennaro could
How I
find.
feel about the quarterback.
So
like, we keep talking about the receivers. Like, Drake May's got a lot to prove this year.
Yeah, he does.
I'm not trying to change the subject.
What was it? A couple weeks ago, we were doing the quarterbacks who have the most to prove, and Drake May was one of them for me.
Yeah.
Because you're right.
But hey, shout out to the Patriots for keeping him with the wide receiver 1, right? Like, a lot of teams leave guys hanging.
Like after what he did last year, a team would have been like, well, we could maybe save money by not re-signing Stephon Diggs.
Or something crazy. At least they upgraded.
Yeah, they said, let's go out and let's get him a bona fide wide receiver 1. And it's a really good match because Drake May loves throwing digs and comebacks. And you know what A.J. Brown's biggest strength is? running digs and comebacks. That one feels pretty nice.
I think that was his biggest strength in Philly. That's not what his biggest strength was in Tennessee when he had a quarterback that would let the ball go. Just putting it out there.
We'll get to Jalen Hurts in a little bit.
No, you set me up for that one.
Posts, curls, crossers. A.J. Brown has been excellent in his wide receiver running those types of routes. Hart didn't really throw those all that much. So if the Patriots are able to unlock those types of passes this upcoming year, that could be a whole new variant of the offense. Slants, goes, corners, drags. Maybe that's when you lean on maybe Romeo Doubs or something. But digs, comebacks, post, curls, crossers, that's where A.J. Brown's at his best.
If I recall, Drake May, when he was coming out of North Carolina, a lot of his passes were intermediate to deep passes and typically in between the hashes where he was comfortable. Not a lot of outside the hash stuff. And when you're talking comebacks, they're usually outside. And
he did a lot of outside the hash last year.
Yeah, the digs would work. He did a lot outside last year. I still question if that's truly his comfort zone, though.
I think Drake May is very good at being a chameleon. I think that is one of his bigger strengths that we saw last year because, like you said, in college, he played one way. In the NFL, he's kind of adjusted his game to fit the offense.
Timu Josh Allen is what he was in college. He ran the ball a lot. He was
Timu's disrespectful. At least give him some Kirkland. Give him some Costco love. Give him some Kirkland love.
He wasn't that great at that aspect of
He just
his
had
game.
happy feet.
He wasn't as big as Josh Allen either.
Still wasn't as big as Josh Allen.
But he had the arm, not a cannon. It was a good arm though. But he was an athlete too when he needed to be. And you could tell there was a lot of improv in his offense in North Carolina. He made it work. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that was as much of him playing an improv game or the offense not really being there with Mac Brown and everything.
Yeah, I was good. I would have knocked a legend.
You can knock a legend. It did not end well.
Yeah, it was kind of wonky at times, but
better than what Bill's doing. But hey.
So I don't know if maybe we see a different version of him. Like you said, he's kind of got a little chameleon in him. If having somebody that can go vertical more than Diggs could have.
Goes vertical, goes into the middle of the field. Not as much middle of the field because A.J. Brown really didn't do like true middle of the field stuff, but he works really well in the intermediate to deep part of the field where that's where Drake May was.
He's a safety valve. That's what he was for Hurts.
Feasting last year. Sean Kane from NBC Sports Philly. He had an interesting tweet yesterday. And this is a guy who covers Philadelphia sports, so I think a little Philly bias. But he did raise a good point, right? Where he said, still curious as to why A.J. Brown wanted out of Philadelphia. They gave him 2 separate contract extensions worth a combined $200 million. They constantly fed him the ball, which is true. Last year, he was top 15 in the NFL in target share. He had a 27.25% target share, tops on the Eagles as well. And they won a Super Bowl, went to another with A.J. Brown. Sean Kane from NBC Sports Philly said, what exactly made it so untenable for him to stay here? And this is a great way of seeing how the relationship between him and Hurts had deteriorated really in the last 18 months. I read something or heard something that said Jalen Hurts is A.J. Brown's kid's godfather. You know how close you must be to someone to make him your godfather?
I do.
And now you guys hate each other apparently. And according to a lot of the reporting, this was just a situation where they're trading A.J. Brown because it just didn't fit with Jalen Hurts. And that's just not the route they want to go with the offense. And they don't want to have that quote unquote locker room cancer going on in the league. Crazy how much that relationship deteriorated. And now this is where I'm starting to read the tea leaves a little bit. And you can call me biased if you want, Alan. I'm not. This is not me being biased. This is me just looking at the tea leaves here. Looking at the tea leaves. The Eagles drafted Mekhi Lemon. They've got Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is going to take a step forward and become the wide receiver 1. Devontae Smith works more over the middle of the field. That's where his bread is buttered. That's what he likes to do. Mekhi Lemon, he played primarily in the slot in college. And where did he catch a large portion of his passes? Between the hash marks over the middle of the field. Where does Jalen Hurts hate throwing the football? Over the middle of the field. What did the Eagles keep in this trade? The Eagles kept next year's first-round draft pick. They kept it in a draft that's expected to be pretty deep at quarterback. All I'm saying is it might be a put up or shut up year for Jalen Hurts. Might be a put up or shut up year. Howie Roseman has shown he is not afraid to move off a quarterback who's still got a lot of money left to earn on their contract. Did it with Carson Wentz. That's how we came to get Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts took him out of the game, took him out of the team, put him off the roster. I'm just saying.
Let's be clear.
There's some tea leaves here that are showing.
Jalen Hurts could play left-handed, and they still would be like bottom third drafting in the league next year. they're gonna have to give
draft
up. Yeah,
they keep that's worth it because you could have if they did think, oh, this isn't going to be a good draft pick, whatever it might be. Let's just move off of it. Maybe we don't even have to include that fifth rounder next year. We could just give up the first rounder next year. No, they gave up the following year's first round draft pick. There's something there.
I think it's smart to keep that pick next year for the Patriots. Actually, Evan was talking about it before we came on air. Like if you're the Patriots, the time frame of you potentially being bad after your Super Bowl run is typically the very next year. So you would want to keep that pick because that's probably going to be more valuable than your 2028 pick is what he was saying.
That's true.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that makes sense. I don't think that was a sticking point for the Eagles. The Eagles are too good of a team to take steps back that far where they could be like next year we might be in the running for a quarterback. They're going to have to give up a boatload to get into up. To move up.
I'm keeping an eye on it.
To be fair, they didn't go for Jalen Hurts in the first round. They got him later in the draft. So in their mind, they're probably set. I don't think Howie Roseman has that kind of a risky long game thing. I think he wants to make this work, and they're going to try to give him the best option to do that.
All right, so it might be some bias in there.
Yeah,
some
a
bias.
little bit, but to be fair too, you're right. The skill set of his two receivers
he's got to
right
evolve.
now.
Jalen Hurts got to evolve this offseason.
Now Devontae has, in his Heisman run, he did a lot of RPO under Sarkisian down there in Alabama, so he's very familiar with that element of the offense that I keep praying that they bring back because Jalen Hurts was comfortable with it, but he can run the same route combinations that AJ Brown did and be that guy. And I think Mekhi Lemon could slot in and be what Devontae was last year if they wanted to run a similar look, right? Not going to have the same size, but Devontae can run the slants and things like you're talking about, the digs, the comebacks and all that. He can do that. Mekhi Lemon is a stud, man. He's got a lot of Amon-Ra in his game. He looks up to Amon-Ra. He's from USC and all that, but he plays a whole lot bigger, stronger than you would think from a slot receiver. So he's going to give you everything you want. And he can go vertical too if you want to, but he prefer to be across the middle of the field and get yards after the catch.
If I'm being a positive Philadelphia stan right now, you know how JSN last year, they got rid of one Ole Miss wide receiver in DK Metcalf, and JSN evolved into become the offensive player of the year?
Insane.
I'm just saying, Philly just got rid of an Ole Miss wide receiver who was a bit of a diva. Devontae Smith.
If that happens,
could potentially just take over.
If that happens, I'm going to crack up laughing. But I think
you kind of Ole Miss. Oh, that's interesting.
I think you're spot on though. Like when we look at this trade, the questions for Philly are now on the quarterback. Yeah. Everything falls on the quarterback. I hate to quote Evan Canty too, but he also made a very valid point. When you have a situation where it's quarterback or receiver, and you move off a receiver, the quarterback is under a lot of pressure to perform the next year.
You have put all your chips onto Jalen Hurts. That is what they've done. But it's going to be fascinating to see how this one plays out. I think A.J. Brown is going to fit well with Drake May. I think that is a great move for New England. Get some help for your star quarterback, your young star quarterback. And in Philly, you have put all your chips behind Jalen Hurts. We'll see how that one plays out. Could be interesting. Let's go on out to the phone lines. We've got Leaf on line one. Good morning, Leaf. How we doing?
Good morning. My ears were burning. You were talking about the Eagles. I had a call.
Do you like the move getting rid of A.J. Brown?
I'll be lying to say yes. He's a great wide receiver, but he's too much of a diva. About 2 years ago, they were talking about something off the field. Everybody was, but they never alerted to what it was. Something about somebody dating somebody, and there was drama. You remember that a couple years ago?
Well, when AJ, I mean, there's been a lot of off the field drama. I mean, there was a book on the sideline too. There's been a lot of everything with them.
Well, yeah. I mean, when it comes down to it, the offensive line last year, I think they're done doing the tush push. I really do, because I think so many of them got injured and they never came out on the report. If you really look at it,
that could be a nice conspiracy theory. I think they stopped doing it last year because Jalen Hurts had like a injured knee kind of throughout the year, kind of on and off, and they were afraid of using it with him. I think if he's fully healthy, you don't get rid of a play that has a 90% success rate.
Right, but I mean, he gave up the playoffs. I saw him drop like 3 balls. That's not AJ-ish.
Yeah, that's
But when
true.
it comes down to it, moving forward, I'd rather them got in the next year pick. But you know how he still got something out of the deal. They had to move on.
Yeah, how he put on his GM hat. I think it's impressive too that Howie was able to get that much in return, because this has been a very out in the open secret that these were the two teams working together. Typically that takes away some of the leverage, but doesn't seem to have done that with Howie Roseman.
Right. I mean, how I thought, maybe he would do a under the rug type thing with Kansas City, but they really wanted them two to be happy on both sides. So it was like, all right, AJ, just get rid of them. Yeah, at least get a first round. That was good.
Yeah, exactly. Appreciate you calling in.
Care less.
Yeah, 5th rounder. That's just kind of something in there to sweeten the pot. But appreciate you calling in, Leave. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Hopefully for you, the Eagles prove that this was the right move and that putting all their faith behind Jalen Hurts is going to work out. So appreciate you calling in, Leaf. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Keeping it out on the phone lines, I wonder if Dolphin Dave is out there just yearning for some sort of talent to come down to Miami, because the Dolphins – call back, Dolphin Dave. I just apparently you dropped. We got G on line 3. So Dolphin Dave, you give us a call back. We'll get you back on the lines. We've got G out there now. Morning. How we doing?
I'm doing all right. Now, I was looking at one of the Philly content creators, and he kind of broke down with the word on the street as far as AJ leaving the Eagles, which kind of makes a little sense. But the word on the street, he had a lot of tenderism going on.
A lot of tenderism?
Yeah, tenderism.
Now, what's that?
And it's basically when you catch feelings from a female that's not really yours.
Yeah, that's what I thought it would be. That's what I thought it was.
It's a situation.
Yeah, it's a situation. I just needed to be 100% sure before I was throwing AJ Brown.
You're looking at me and I'm like, look, I can't actually tell you what it is.
Hey, that doesn't shock me.
But I listen to a lot of the inside Philly guys that's doing a lot of content, and a lot of them are saying the same thing. And basically, Hurston, they co-sign for the tenderism, and that's where the issue got.
Whew. I wouldn't. I mean, that makes sense a little bit too, right? Because they're Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. Maybe I'm reading way too much into it now, but AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, they were best friends. Maybe AJ Brown started doing some unsavory type of stuff. Jalen Hurts didn't really agree with it, and things kind of deteriorated from there. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Because the issues actually happened right after the Super Bowl year.
Yeah.
And the issues with the player that involved the tenderism is not even on the team no more. But he was on the team in 23. And that's what BG was kind of co-signing last year about what was going on between the two players.
Huh.
Which makes sense. I mean, at the end of the day, you're getting the money, you're getting the championships, you're winning, but you just want to leave. And that kind of makes sense when the locker room's looking at you sideways because you're tender.
Yeah. It reminds me, what was it, Golden Tate back in the day with the Seahawks? The reason he got kicked off the Seahawks, quote unquote, was because he did some tenderism stew going on with. I'm not going to throw it anymore, but yeah, I mean, hey, locker rooms are crazy place. Locker rooms are a crazy place. Appreciate you calling in, G. Love the word on the street. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. I like that one. All right, we're going to keep it on out to the phone lines. We've got Chris on line 3. Morning, Chris. How we doing?
Morning, Jack. How you doing, buddy?
Great.
So, 2 things really quick. A.J. Brown was already in a great situation before Philly. I think people keep forgetting about that. He was with Tennessee already with Vrabel, had Derrick Henry. That team was really just a quarterback away from being in Super Bowl contention. So, to go to Philly and be the diva that he was, I don't quite understand that, because he was already the man in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's what he wants, and he wasn't the man in Philly. and now he wants to be the man. So
well, in
that's what I don't
Tennessee,
understand.
he didn't
And
force his way out of Tennessee. Tennessee just kind of traded him because they didn't want to pay him. So for Tennessee, that wasn't he would have from all of the stuff I've read, he would have liked to stay in Tennessee. Vrabel loved him, which is a big reason why Vrabel's gone out and he's gotten him to come up to New England now. So I don't think Tennessee was as much of him trying to force his way out. Now Philly, it's him trying to force his way out.
Right. And I mean, and that's, again, that Titans team was a quarterback away from really being in contention for years. But, that's neither here nor there. And secondly, we don't talk about the Rams enough, how they're robbing people blind. I mean, they got Myles Garrett for nothing. And they did this years ago. I mean, I don't know how they keep pulling this off, but the Browns got robbed blind on that deal.
You think so?
100%. I know people look at Myles Garrett and say, oh, he's 30, 31, but Myles Garrett is not your average 30-year-old defensive lineman. I mean, he's one of one. We talk about people like LeBron and how longevity. Well, Myles Garrett is that of the NFL. I mean, he's still the league leader in sacks by a large margin.
Yeah.
If we can make
asked for 3 or 4 first rounders.
But Jared Verse is the equivalent of a first rounder. They got a first rounder, a second, and a third. I think
not enough.
And if we're doing NBA, Jared Verse is like the Ant Edwards of his generation, right? Like edge rusher. He's not like chopped liver, man. Like he's
Chris
easily
a hard bargain.
He's
not
easily
enough.
a top 5-6 player at that position.
Not enough.
I understand that, guys, but we're talking about one of the best defensive edges we've ever even seen. I mean, this guy,
agree.
I mean, he's got another 4 years in him in his prime, maybe more.
You run a hard bargain though, because I think that's a great deal for Cleveland because Myles Garrett did not fit their current timeline, and the longer they held on to him, kind of like Milwaukee with Giannis to keep the NBA kind of similarities going. Every day Giannis is on the Bucks, his value goes down. Every day Myles Garrett stayed on the Browns, his value went down. So the fact they were able to move off of him, get a first, second, and a third over the next 3 years, plus Jared Verse, who's still on his rookie deal, who has shown flashes of being one of the best young edge rushers in the league. I give them both an A. I give them both an A, Chris.
They need to throw in Blake Corum. They need to throw in.
You're on a hard market, man.
Yeah, you about to get a dial tone in.
I love it. Appreciate you calling in, Chris. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. The second he starts throwing in all those, Chris would run a hard bargain.
Yeah, I don't think the Rams are incentivized that much. Like, I mean,
you want me to give up my best edge rusher plus my potential future running back one?
Yeah,
No.
I'm like, dude, I got a good player. I'm just
click.
You just have a better player. It's not that drastic.
Exactly. All right, let's get a quick break in. We're running a little bit behind, but keep calling in 804-327-0888 on the Radkey Insurance phone line. Dolphin Dave, hang tight. We'll get to you in just a minute. We got to get this quick break in. Step aside, be back with more Fitz the Bill.
Bon Air Shell has been serving the RVA community for 20 plus years, providing service with a smile and technicians you can trust. Family owned and operated, 8762 Huguenot Road.
On top of home and auto, Progressive protects your boat, RV, and motorcycle so you can explore the unknown.
Actually, we just take the RV to the same campground every year.
Well, maybe you can catch your own dinner on your boat.
Oh, we can actually get pizza delivered there from this brick oven place we love.
Will you at least try a new topping?
Honestly, probably not. We kind of have a go-to order.
Fine. Just bundle home or auto insurance with your outdoor vehicles with Progressive and stay protected when you go, I guess, where you've gone before. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. 1061 ESPN on-air interviews presented by the Herman Allen Plumbing Heating and Cooling Hotline with Lennox products that make the air in your home absolutely perfect.
Horse racing is back, and it's time to get ready for another Triple Crown season. Get the latest from the industry every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 with Off to the Races on 1061 ESPN. Presented by The Racing Biz. Nick Hahn and Frank Vespi bring you their insight and knowledge, talking with the people making the headlines, including jockeys, trainers, and owners. Plus, get the expert picks each week, including a visit by Derby Bill Watson. It's Off to the Races each Saturday morning at 10 on 106.1 ESPN, streaming live on the iHeartRadio app.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang, that one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
106.1 ESPN weather.
We're expecting mostly sunny skies today with cooler temperatures in the morning, warming up to a high of 75 later this afternoon, and lows dropping down tonight to 50.
Coming up on the Tuesday Mid-Major Match Show, we preview Game 1 of the Stanley Cup between Vegas and Carolina, and also take a look at the latest news in the NFL. 4 until 6 here on 106.1 ESPN.
Tell me something good. Welcome back in, Fitz the Bill, on this Tuesday morning. So we keep it out on the phone lines, the Radke Insurance phone lines. Morning, Dolphin Dave. Appreciate you holding tight. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, we're great. Can't complain.
One question and one comment. And the first the question is after A.J. Brown, with all his shenanigans in Philadelphia, why do the Patriots think that he will turn over a new leaf and be, I would say, a better teammate? I mean, we already know he's a great player. I'm not saying anything away from him. But how does he not become a cancer in another locker room? That's the first question. And as far as the trade, the only thing I'm just wondering is the fact that, yeah, they've got a bunch of picks from the Rams. But if the Rams are as good as we think the Rams are going to be, those are going to be really late picks, even in the first round or the second round. You're talking 30s. You're not talking late 20s or even the teens. So I don't know if that value with the picks I know picks are precious, but I don't know if that value is the value you're looking for. It'd be different if you're going to get a second or third or a fourth. But so I'm going to get off and I'm going to listen. But I just don't, the A.J. Brown thing, I don't understand why you'd want to bring that in your locker room. And I don't know if the picks are worth the picks.
That's a great point. Dolphin Day, appreciate you calling in. On the A.J. Brown front, I think, yeah, he has a locker room cancer, but he's still probably one of the 7 best wide receivers in the league right now. Maybe even 5th, top 5 type of stuff. And Terrell Owens was a known locker room cancer, and he was traded, and teams wanted his services everywhere he went. If you're good, you're going to find a spot in a locker room. Vrabel also probably feels like he knows how to speak A.J. Brown's language because the two were together for a couple of years in Tennessee. Vrabel really liked A.J. Brown. It's been reported. Now, are those reports fully accurate at this point? We don't really know because of who they were reported by. It was some interesting stuff that was happening between Vrabel and that reporter. However, the reports were around that time that Vrabel really liked A.J. Brown, and he was really, really upset that they traded him. So Vrabel probably thinks he can speak A.J. Brown language, and who knows, maybe it was Tinderism going on. Not a lot happening in Foxborough.
I'm not going to lie to you. I completely forgot about who started those reports. And, yeah, thinking back, I do think there was some validity to the reports because the general manager and him butted heads.
I think all the reports have been valid.
Yeah.
I think the way that
the way they got him, the way they got
that's the part that's a little questionable.
To Dolphin Dave's point, though, I don't know about you guys. I have an aunt that I always behave for, no matter what. I'm always going to listen to Aunt Didi, man. I the kid that my parents see and the kid that the school saw and everybody else was not the kid my Aunt Didi got.
I also think there were a lot of underlying things with relationships in Philly. I think A.J. Brown started acting out because he was just over it. He felt like he wasn't.
And now he's with his Aunt Didi. He's going to behave for Vrabel. Vrabel probably I ain't never had these issues with him.
And I think New England, Vrabel, everyone involved was like, well, let's give this one a shot. If it works, it's awesome. If it doesn't work, we trade him.
Just like my Aunt Didi would say, send them to me. I'll take care of it. And she did. She's right. I behaved, and I'm sure AJ Brown is going to behave for Mike Vrabel.
And then on the Rams pick side of it, that's a really good point. Like they're trading away probably the 25th or worst pick in the next couple of drafts. But
I will say people have been really crazy about trading back into the first round. So even if you have a late round pick, you can get value.
Especially with quarterbacks next year, because what does that do? You get a first round draft pick. If you're picked between picks 1 and 32, it's not new anymore. The CBA, the rookie deals, all first round picks. They are a fully guaranteed deal, and they include a 5th-year team option. So you want a quarterback? You want to trade back into the first to get that 5th-year team option, because that 5th-year team option does not exist rounds 2 through 7. So a lot of teams are incentivized to trade back up into the first, get that additional year of security, and then they can feel good about their quarterback moving forward.
And low key, all right, next year, you got the first round pick of the Rams. Yes, that's probably going to be later, unless you're banking on, obviously, the Stafford injury, which nobody's actually factoring that into their equation.
Well, you can't factor in injuries. But
I'm just saying, like, if you're anticipating maybe they're not as good as they think they'll be, let's say it's between 25 and 32 next year, right? People will want to trade back in. Your second round pick in the season after that could potentially be valuable for folks and for you to trade back into the first round.
And you're not wrong either in the fact that if Matt Stafford gets hurt, everything could come unraveling because Ty Simpson or Stetson Bennett is their QB2.
Somebody had that, the Falcons. The Falcons, when they traded back into the first round, they gave their pick to the Rams to trade into the first round. And then they had an awful year this year where it was almost a top 10 pick at one point. And they didn't anticipate
at one point almost like a top 5 pick.
Yeah, and they didn't anticipate that. And obviously nobody anticipated that when they made the trade. But that's kind of the risk that you take when you make the trade. You're banking or betting on yourself to be good.
Yeah, say Devontae Adams gets hurt. Puka Nacua has some issues that he has to deal with off the field, or he gets hurt because he plays a really physical brand of football, and Stafford gets hurt. You're looking at a team that could maybe only win 7 games, and you're looking at a middle of the first round draft pick.
The Rams won the Super Bowl and then ended up drafting top 10 that next year, I think, or something like that. They had
Stafford got hurt.
Yeah, they had a pretty bad year when Stafford got hurt. So again, not betting on it, but that's
how
why
they got Jared Verse.
Yeah,
that was Verse.
That's why you don't necessarily discard any future picks, because we can't see into the future and they can be valuable.
Yeah. So it's going to be fascinating to see, but great questions from Dolphin Dave. News or snooze got pushed around a little bit. So we're going to kick off hour number 2 with some news or snooze. But I mean, hey, I'm happy to push things around if it means you guys are calling in. 804-327-0888. The Radkey Insurance phone line is open, will remain open in hour number 2. RadkeyInsurance.com to get started on your free quote today. So much NFL, so much to dive into, because Myles Garrett, he's now a Ram. AJ Brown, he's now a Patriot. Jared Verse, he's now a Brown. And it's tough to keep straight of all of these numbers, everything that's moving around. But we'll keep talking about it. We'll talk some news or snooze to kick off hour number 2 at 9:30. Jasmine Wimbish, she covers the NBA for CBS Sports, will be joining us to chat all things NBA Finals as that tips off tomorrow night. Knicks Spurs, a rematch of the 1999 NBA Finals.
One of the 2?
I was 2.
Okay.
I was 2 for that one. That was the one that kicked off this lengthy drought that the Knicks have found themselves in that has been broken.
The Y2K.
Those were worried about the Y2K. What happens when zeros get involved in numbers? I didn't realize Y2K was like a real thing that people thought the world was going to end.
Yeah, because you were 2.
Yeah, then I watched a documentary on it, and I was like, oh, this was like a real thing.
Yeah,
people were worried.
Little did they know.
What were you, 22 in 1999?
No, I wasn't 22, you dork.
Just
I wish, though, man. The 90s was great.
Yeah, it seemed like they were a good time. I was there for 2 years.
No,
I experienced it.
I wish I could have been like driving and out of the house in the 90s.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't have been able to watch TV.
Yeah, but I would have had so many stories to tell. Quite the adventure.
Yeah, probably. All right, we'll be back. Hour number 2. We'll kick it off. News or snooze. Might have a little debate on Russell Wilson and his Hall of Fame candidacy. I might have backed myself into a corner here, Alan, though, because I'm anti-Eli in the Hall of Fame. But
no, trust me, I was waiting. I was waiting for you to bring this up.
Look, I'm pro Russ, so I may have backed myself into a corner. Look, I love Russ so much as a Seahawk. I might be willing to concede Eli to the Hall of Fame. I might be willing to eat that argument just so I can have an argument.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because he might be going to CBS News or Snooze. Will kick us off in hour number 2. Stay with us on this Tuesday morning. 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Spring has arrived in RVA, and it's a perfect time to head over to Queenfield Golf Club. Queenfield is a beautifully secluded 18-hole course just a few minutes east of Mechanicsville that offers a spacious driving range, practice greens and bunkers, and professionally maintained golf course. Take the afternoon off or schedule your tee time today by calling 804-769-8838 or reserve your spot online at queenfieldgolf.com and make Queenfield Golf Club your new favorite golf course.
This is advertising material. A drunk driver changed your life in an instant. Now what? The pain, the bills, the recovery that never feels fast enough. You didn't ask for this, but you don't have to face it alone. Alexander Shinara trial attorneys fight for drunk driving victims and get results. Call now 877-222-6666 or visit alexwins.law. Don't wait. alexwins.law. This is advertising material. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes. Every case is different. Philip George is licensed attorney in Virginia, is responsible for legal work. Office is located in Norfolk.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1 ESPN. You're listening to the second hour of Fitz the Bill on 106.1 ESPN.
Welcome in hour number 2 of Fitz the Bill right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, the ESPN Richmond app, ESPNRichmond.com. Streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you want to watch the stream, just type in ESPN Richmond. We'll pop right on up. You can like, comment, subscribe to be part of the show. You can also be part of the show by calling or texting into the Radkey Insurance phone line, 804-327-0888. Hour 1 was all about the blockbuster trades we saw yesterday. June 1 hit, 4 p.m. Eastern on June 1 hit. And my, oh my, did we see some blockbusters come across the finish line. Myles Garrett, he went from the Browns to the Rams. It was a bad day to be named Trent Williams, and it was a bad day to be named Paris Johnson. Is that the card? We don't even know the card.
We're not worried about it.
Someone tweeted out yesterday. He goes, there's levels to this. One team in the NFC West is trading for Myles Garrett. There's another engaged in a contract dispute with Jacoby Brissett. I was like, man, the Cardinals ain't catching any slack.
That is true. I'm not going to lie. When I saw an alert on that, and I was like, man, what a wild sign that quarterbacks are overvalued.
Yeah.
There was a time when I argued with people on this station about Jacoby Brissett and the Commanders.
Was he on the Commanders at one point?
Yeah, at one point he was, and they were saying he was like their quarterback.
That is
they
so
should invest
funny.
in him.
I don't even remember his.
You could throw a dart at a board, and Jacoby Brissett's been on the team.
Yeah, so him and Josh Johnson. Him and John. But so there's levels to this, right? There are levels to it where some teams are making Super Bowl contending moves, the others aren't. AJ Brown, he gets shipped up to Boston. He's shipping up to Boston with the Dropkick Murphys after he got dealt from Philly. No one really knows what happened there, but there's some words on the street, as our caller in hour number 1G let us know.
Tread lightly, Boston. This isn't your usual player. Watch how you talk to him.
What was the last Randy Moss was probably the last crazy receiver they had in their building.
He survived Ole Miss. He can survive Boston.
Yes. Look, Boston might be a little rough, but Ole Miss might be a little rougher when it comes to certain things out there. So call in, text in your thoughts on those trades yesterday. We're going to kick off hour number 1. Often we don't have this happening in hour number 2, but News or Snooze got pushed, and so we've got to kick off hour number 2 with America's favorite segment, some News or Snooze.
News
Extra, read all about it.
or snooze.
News or snooze? I should flip the order because we're going to argue about this one. Sources: QB Wilson set to leave NFL for CBS job.
Snooze worthy. Yeah, that's it. Nothing to see here. Let's just keep moving on.
You sure that's all you want to talk about on this subject?
Apparently he's not officially retired. He has not come out to say that he is officially retiring for football. He had an offer on the table. Look, if you had an offer between CBS and the New York Jets, we'd all take CBS.
I mean,
would you rather back up?
Could you
Geno
not do
Smith?
both? Isn't CBS headquartered in New York?
Yeah, it is.
Couldn't you just do both?
Yeah, but New York, as we all know, is not in New York. It's over there in East
true.
Rutherford. I mean,
how much practice time do you really need in for the Jets?
Also, it's an easy commute. The path is right there. You can take the water taxi. Live in Weehawken. And
Eli used to take the subway.
Yeah, Eli did. There was a bar I would frequent. Maybe not frequent, but I went a couple of times, I'll say. When I lived up in Hoboken, it was the one Saquon and Daniel Jones loved going to. Never saw him.
Now, for the record, if your only options on the table are the Jets, you are, whether you realize it or not, retired. Just saying. Like it's the Jets. The Jets is the only team that offered you. Come on, man.
Yeah. That's a good point.
If there was writing on the wall, it would say JETS.
Except it would be spelled JETC, just end the career.
Yes.
just end the season, just end the career. So Russell Wilson, likely done as an NFL football player. An 804, great, right? Played at collegiate. His name is etched in the 804 football history books, whatever it might be. I think the Richmond Times-Dispatch did a full breakdown of some of the best players that have come through the 804. Russell Wilson was near the top of that list. Now his career is done, and it begs the question, is Russell Wilson a Hall of Famer? Yes. Russell Wilson's a Hall of Famer, right? Like, you would agree with that.
According to Pro Football Reference, a score of 100 is around the average modern era inductee.
Okay.
And Russell Wilson is a 94.82.
Ooh, what score? Like a passer rating or
Hall of Fame? Like
they have like a Hall of Fame score. Oh.
Yeah, so like Tom Brady's 265, Peyton Manning's 257, Aaron Rodgers is 201. But you got Terry Bradshaw at 95, Bart Starr at 97, Phillip Rivers at 99, and Russell Wilson is a 94. Ben Roethlisberger is exactly at 100, and Matt Ryan and Patrick Mahomes right now are at 106.
That's crazy.
They're saying the average.
That's crazy. Hold
on. The average Hall of Fame quarterback by their marker is 110. So again, it's not a perfect metric. And look, Kurt Warner's at an 88 and he's in. So yeah, let him in.
All right, there we go. That was an easy discussion then.
Yeah, let him in. What about Eli though?
What's Eli's number? Now I'm curious.
87.
Ooh.
He's right behind Kurt.
Wow, that's actually really shocking considering he's a 2-time Super Bowl winner.
Yeah.
Does MVP, do you know how they factor this at all? Because like, how in the world is Matt Ryan above?
They estimate a player's chance using annual value, Pro Bowls, All Pros, championships, and various stat milestones.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's cool to have a metric, but
it
obviously
also,
they don't pay attention to it.
It hurts that Russell Wilson was never an All-Pro selection it hurts that the way of MVP voting during Russell Wilson's prime of his career was vastly different than it is now, because he never received an MVP vote, because that was back in the day where you only voted for who you thought was going to win. Now you have like essentially ranked choice voting. So that hurt Russell Wilson. Never was an all-pro, never got an MVP vote. I hear that. I understand that. But early on in his career, through the first 10 years of his career with the Seattle Seahawks, he was setting records. He was doing things we've never seen before, specifically out of a quarterback that was under 6 foot. He was magical. Russell Wilson is a Hall of Famer. Like, I think full stop right there. He was appointment television. If you had NFL Red Zone, you were turning off Red Zone and putting on the Seattle Seahawks 2-minute drive if they were down 4 points. Like, he was appointment television. And, oh, by the way, he ushered in this era of short quarterbacks. Like, Baker Mayfield would not have been the number 1 overall pick if it wasn't for Russell Wilson. Bryce Young would not have been the number 1 overall pick if it was not for Russell Wilson. He has kind of ushered in this new era of different looking quarterbacks. I think all of that is part of his Hall of Fame candidacy.
Sure.
Okay. I was expecting a little bit more pushback.
No,
on
I
that
could
one.
give you pushback, but it's probably mostly just me hating him because he played for Seattle. I was only going to push back on the appointment television thing. I never wanted to watch a Seahawks game, but that's probably because of my fandom.
He also, in one of his seasons, he's had like the 6th most rushing yards in a single season by an NFL quarterback. Most wins by a quarterback through the first 10 seasons of their careers.
And one of the worst play calls of all time in Super Bowl history.
And that's not his fault. That was Ricardo Lockett not running through the point of contact aggressive enough. All I'm saying.
Just audibly handed the ball off.
Also, if we're talking Eli versus Russ has the better passer rating over their career. Russ has the better completion percentage over their career. A touchdown to interception ratio. Russell is better than Eli.
But his last name is Wilson and not Manning.
Russell Wilson threw 114 interceptions in 219 games, just about 0.52 per game. Eli threw 244 interceptions in 236 games, 1.03 per game. So that is in favor of Russell Wilson. He's a more efficient quarterback across almost every single metric. He had more of a dual threat ability. Eli Manning was a statue. Russell was arguably the best improviser in the NFL during his time. I would never say he was an elite scrambler, but he was an elite improviser.
He's pretty good. Broke, what did we call him?
Remember when he broke Brian Urlacher's ankles when they were running the RPO?
Whenever the play would break down, he was definitely he was elite off script. There you go.
Yes,
elite
off script. So just I think Russell has the edge over Eli too.
Again, you know my stance on this. If we let Joe Namath in, we can let everybody in.
Can we retroactively take him out? Is Joe Namath still with us?
Yes.
Once he passes, can we just get him out?
No, you can't do it.
Why? Can we put an asterisk retroactively?
Joe Cool, man.
What's his rating?
What's his rating?
Oh, I'm going to look that up. His rating must be really freaking low. 70.
Yeah.
How was he an all-pro? He was only a starter for 9 years. Wow. That's crazy.
But he had one of the greatest upsets of all time in football history, I believe.
Troy Aikman had a 64.28. Jim Kelly a 59. Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm learning a lot.
Troy Aikman won a lot of games, and he was part of a really good team.
Troy Aikman, I think he was just a product of his environment. He never got as much credit, so he didn't get the all-pro votes. He was never an all-pro, did win 3 championships, did get 6 Pro Bowls, but I think the fact that Russell did not get a single all-pro and not a single MVP vote is going to go against him.
Yeah, but I also think, though, like, again, the idea that he is part of, like, this new era of scrambling quarterbacks and them beating the mold of he doesn't meet the physical criteria and he was still very successful. I think you're right. Like, I think he was part of a trendsetter, or at least the guy that if we're in the war room, we point to, like, look, it worked for him.
Yeah.
So you get a Kyler Murray when you let Russell Wilson cook.
Hey, Kyler Murray is probably the best out of all the short quarterbacks to have come out between Kyler and Baker. Right?
Here we go.
Okay. Kyler's going to have a resurgence in Minnesota this year. Kyler's going to take Minnesota to the playoffs.
I believe in Coach O'Connell.
Yes.
For sure. I don't think that's a hot take.
KOC.
Up next, Giants sign Beckham, Smith-Schuster, Barrios to bolster wide receiver room. How did this even make the list?
Because, man, Alec, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought that was a 2. I thought it was the third number of the year. I thought that was a 2, not a 1. I thought we were in 2026, not 2016.
Man, look, I looked at Braxton Barrios' stats because I was curious because I was like, man, I haven't heard that name in a while.
Where did he play? He made his name in New York with the Jets, right?
Brother, he ain't had stats in like 2 seasons.
No, I know he hasn't. Where did he play his best? It was either Miami or the Jets, right?
I don't even know, man.
Probably his best career year was with the Jets, and then he used that to
splitting hairs here.
Yeah, best year, aka when did he break 500 receiving yards in a single year?
Man. And
yeah, Braxton Berrios not that great.
Juju, limited range, limited route tree. Odell Beckham hasn't played in several seasons, often injured.
I'm expecting the next wide receiver for the Giants to sign to be Chase Claypool.
No, you know that commercial where they had like Emmett, Dan Marino, Jerry Rice? Like, we need that. Like, bring one of them guys back. Who's an all-time great? Where's Plaxico Burress?
Does this worry you at all that Malik Neighbors is actually more hurt than what they're letting on?
Sound the alarms. This is concerning. It's concerning that you think that these 3 guys would be newsworthy hires.
Odds at all that any of these 3 guys make the 53 man. I'm putting it at 5% that one of these 3 make the 53 man.
If one of these, you know what? For the sake of nostalgia, I still have hope for Odell. But if Juju or Braxton makes the team, if it's Harbaugh that's responsible for general manager duties, he needs to be relieved. If it's Joe Shane, we need to listen to I said this for years. Listen to his son. His son knows what he's talking about. That's the real general manager. Like, this is awful. Like, imagine you're Jackson Dart and you're starting the season with these guys. This is bad.
Oh my goodness.
How is anybody optimistic about this? Like Odell Beckham, like, do you know the gap between Odell Beckham's greatness and Jackson Dart actually being like a teenage quarterback? He's probably like, this dude is probably a walking fossil to him.
Jackson Dart was probably what? He's 22 now. He was probably 12.
Exactly.
When Odell Beckham was.
Yeah, he's like, yo, I'm playing with the living legend. This is crazy, man.
The Giants are quickly being engulfed in flames. It's some crazy stuff.
It's a hot mess. God bless the defense, man. Y'all gonna be working double time.
The Giants are, we ask, who's getting the most out of this New York Knicks run? It's the Giants.
Yeah, because
no one is focused on the Knicks.
We're not talking about how bad they are.
The Knicks are going to lose in 7 games in heartbreaking fashion. The entire New York media is going to turn their attention right back to New York, and they're going to be like, what is happening with the Giants? And then it's all going to go even more downhill. All right, what's the last one?
All right, the last one, Texas Tech knocks off number 1 Alabama, sets up finals rematch with Texas. I'm assuming this is softball?
Softball, yes, and newsworthy. The Red Raiders now 61-8 this season. Took down Alabama twice last night.
Ah, man, I just thought about something.
What?
Poor Texas, man. They about to catch this stray.
Texas Tech was saying, we'll pay your buyout if you come play us. And
Texas softball doesn't deserve this.
And Texas was like, no, we're good. Just kidding. We were talking a lot. We're not going to back it up. That was soft from Texas.
Nah, that's Sark.
SOFT soft.
Sark running his mouth.
Yeah, he was running. And Texas Tech, I said, if you missed this, Texas was running his mouth. And then Texas Tech said, all right, well, if you're going to run your mouth, we'll play you week 1. We'll pay your buyout to get out of your week 1 game. We'll pay our buyout to get out of our week 1 game. We set up a week 1 showdown. And Texas said, thanks, but no thanks. Yeah. We're good with playing. I think it's Texas State they're playing.
I think Texas was their rebuttal to that was, well, we have to play Ohio State week 2, so no.
Which is another reason why college football playoff expansion is a stump thing, everything like that. You're running from a good opponent because you're worried that you're going to lose, which could then
I mean,
whatever.
Could very well start. Well, I don't know. We don't know what Texas Tech quarterback situation is.
I mean, that's true. So
did Sorsby bet on this?
Chill. Yo, some more has come out about Sorsby betting.
The guy's got
bet
a problem.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
On Indiana when he was on Indiana.
And again, the excuse was, one of the other excuses was it brought him closer to the team.
Yeah,
that was
a horrible excuse.
What?
That's what I say to myself when I'm betting on the Seahawks.
I
want to feel like I'm part of the team.
I've been in a deep dive of gambling. I will make a confession to folks. I've bet on soccer matches in Africa where I had to watch on Twitter. Like, they don't even have a stream for you. You're watching on Twitter and it's a dirt field. And I
bet you and Sorsby bet on the same game.
You probably, and I've never felt closer to a player or bet to get closer to a player. So I don't understand what's going on with my guy here. He does need help.
He does. And maybe he got it. Who knows? And some teams will take a chance on him in the supplemental draft.
All right, we got to pick one. I'm taking Texas.
For the softball championship?
Yep, I'm going
Texas Tech because their pitcher, Kennedy, is nails.
I like
Straight
Texas
nails.
energy, man. They be doing dances and line dances and stuff in the
I like Kennedy's
dugout.
energy. She throws a strikeout. She starts yelling. She goes crazy. I'm all in on him. It begins tomorrow. The Texas Longhorns won last year over Texas Tech. It will be the first title rematch since Women's College World Series adopted the best-of-3 series format in 2005. Last year, the Longhorns won the decisive third game against Texas Tech. It was the first national title for the Longhorns. In the win over Alabama, Kennedy got them to a 2-0 win over the Crimson Tide. In the second game, it was her fourth career Women's College World Series shutout, gave up just 2 hits, finished with 6 strikeouts. Alabama failed to score for only the second time this season. Give me Texas Tech and their star pitcher. Should be a fun one on Wednesday.
She's got a unique NIL deal, too.
Yeah, they stole her from Stanford?
I believe it was Stanford. I remember the hoopla behind it, but she's got like equity or something in her NIL deal.
Yeah,
like it's legit, man. Look, I'm starting to come around on Texas Tech, man. Maybe
They're smart.
Maybe I need to talk to my son and see if we can't get him into Texas Tech.
Get him into like a fringe sport that Texas Tech randomly cares about.
They spend a lot of money, but it seems like they also set you up for future success.
Shout out to the Red Raiders.
Yeah.
I can't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah,
so I'm not
for
hating
sure.
the player.
Especially, look, again, especially if you tell somebody we'll pay your buyout and our buyout. That's a flex.
That's saying we got more money than we could even deal with. All right, let's get a quick break in. Step aside. We'll be back. Jasmine Wimbish joining at 9:30 to chat all things NBA Finals, so stay with us.
Tune in to the Henrico Huddle with Dennis Bickmeyer the last Wednesday of each month, afternoons on 106.1 ESPN, or updates online at henricosea.com.
Golf season is here at Hunting Hawk Golf Club. Plan your next golf outing for your kids' athletic team, church group, or fundraiser online at huntinghawk.com. That's huntinghawk.com.
Bonaire Shell is family owned and operated and has been serving the Richmond community for over 20 years. At Bonaire Shell, you'll find old school service with modern day technology, and our certified technicians will get you back on the road in no time. Stop by for a quick fill up, shop for new tires, ask us about a check engine light, or let us help with any of your auto service needs. Find us at 8762 Huguenot Road near the historic Bonaire section of Southside and online at bonaireshell.com.
As a fitness coach, my active psoriatic arthritis can slow me down. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, I'm treating my skin and joint symptoms so I can keep moving. Skyrizi, a prescription-only injection for adults, helps me move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. And for those who have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible. With Skyrizi, there's no daily dosing. It's just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement. And that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
Catch up on the latest horse racing news with Off to the Races live broadcast, 10 to 11 every Saturday morning on 106.1 ESPN. presented by The Racing Biz.
1061 ESPN on-air interviews presented by the Herman Allen Plumbing Heating and Cooling Hotline with Lennox products that make the air in your home absolutely perfect.
Coming up on the Tuesday Mid-Major Match Show, we preview Game 1 of the Stanley Cup between Vegas and Carolina and also take a look at the latest news in the NFL. 4 until 6 here on 1061 ESPN.
Stuck off the field? 1061 ESPN's got your back. Stream every debate, score, and highlight on the 1061 ESPN app. Download today and stay in the game.
Waiting for the break of day.
Welcome back in to Fitz the Bill on this Tuesday morning. Coming up in about 8 minutes, Jasmine Wimbish covers the NBA for CBS Sports. Will be joining to talk all things NBA Finals. Never wrong, just early. Jasmine and I last year both picked the Knicks to make the NBA Finals. And folks, we weren't wrong. We were just a year early. So we'll talk to Jasmine in just a little bit. But before we do that, Scott Docterman, he's a writer for The Athletic, really great writer for The Athletic. He used to cover Iowa football, Iowa State football, basketball, all of that great stuff in what's Iowa's name? Not Show Me State. Do you know what Iowa's name is?
No.
It's got to be a name.
I've never had a reason to pay attention to Iowa.
Iowa's got to have a name. I don't know what it is.
It ain't the Show Me
It's
State.
not the Show Me State. I know that Iowa is the corn state. That might be it. But Scott, he covered them, did really well. I followed along with a lot of his stuff back in my previous job at DRF Sportsbook because we were only live in Iowa. No wonder that Sportsbook didn't last.
Hawkeye State.
That's it, Hawkeye State. I should have known that.
Real original.
All right, hater. But he wrote an article, The Case for the 2014 Playoff Saving Not Destroying College Football. And he raised some interesting points where the 2014 college football playoff might actually be good for all things college football. He's saying that it's going to the argument is it's going to destroy rivalry games, the regular season, and kind of ruin what makes college football great. He's buying the argument, though, that it saves the sport because one of the things he raises is that by Thanksgiving weekend with 12 teams, most of the bracket is kind of already set. 3-loss teams playing rivalry games have nothing to play for in terms of the playoff. This is Scott's argument. With 24 teams, Texas, OU, Michigan, Ohio State, Bama, Auburn, those types of rivalry games could literally decide playoff spots deep into November under the new 24-team system. But my pushback to that is just as likely as they could be deciding playoff spots, it's as likely, if not more, that they won't. Because though they are both 1 or 2 loss teams coming in, right, it won't mean anything. Because for a lot of SEC and Big Ten teams, if you're a 3-loss team with 24 teams in the college football playoff, there is a strong, strong chance that you are getting into the college football playoff under this new expansion. An expansion that seems inevitable. Won't be this season, probably. Maybe the following seasons. If Greg Sankey continues to hold out, it won't be this season. But it seems inevitable that this is going to happen because 3 of the 4 power conference commissioners are already on board with the Big Ten commissioner, with the Big 12 commissioner, and Jim Phillips with the ACC. Only holdout, and the only person who's kind of holding up the sanctity of college football right now is Greg Sankey, but Sankey's starting to come around. Some of the numbers Scott brought up in this article, since 2014, a 24-team format would have given 80 different programs at least one college football appearance. Under the 16-team format, that drops to 61, which makes sense. Makes a lot of sense, actually, because when you shrink from 24 to 16, look, I did some statistics back in the day. I took AP stats back in my time at Massaponax High School in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I know percentage decreases. I know how numbers vaguely work. 24 to 16 is a 33% decrease. 80 to 61 is a 23% decrease. If that 33% decrease reflected, the teams would be 53 new teams. So it's actually not statistically significant at all. And the argument is if you get more programs in based off of the raw numbers, more fan bases get engaged, there's more money in the sport, but it's going to overly represent power programs, which is the fundamental issue a lot of people have with this. Sure, based on a raw number standpoint, more are getting in, but from a percentage standpoint, not really. That really doesn't matter from a percentage standpoint. And if more power conferences get in, I guess that's fine, but it's just consolidating the power even more, which is the whole core of this issue. Then there's the rivalry argument. Scott Docterman says that's the weakest one. Ohio State lost to Michigan in 2024, still won the national title. Nobody rested starters, nobody tanked. The hate is real regardless of what's at stake. Exactly. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. I'm still anti-college football playoff expansion in a big way. I think it would really just impact college football negatively. And now with 3 of the 4 power conference commissioners on board, seems like this is coming. So does college football embrace it, or do the fans and do some of the group of 6 conferences fight it kicking and screaming? I think they should. I will. I think they should fight it kicking and screaming. All right, let's get a quick break in. Step aside. Jasmine Wimbish, she's an NBA writer for CBS Sports, friend of the program, joining us on the other side. Chat all things NBA Finals. Never wrong, just early. Coming up, 106.1 ESPN Richmond. Do you love football and want to be part of the game and give back to your community? Become an official in Central Virginia. We have a nationwide shortage of officials, causing some games not able to be played on Friday nights. You'll work and train with veteran officials, get great exercise on the field, and you'll earn extra income working the game you love. Active duty military and veterans could receive free uniforms and gear. Training classes start June 22nd. To register, visit cvfoa.org and click register to become an official. That's Central Virginia Football Officials Association, cvfoa.org.
Richmonders love Pella, Virginia, and it's easy to see why. Pella gives you more, so you can feel confident choosing us for your window and door projects. While other companies may offer just 1 or 2 options, Pella has a full range: wood, vinyl, and fiberglass, so you get quality and customization, not just a quick fix. When you choose Pella, we'll handle everything from order to installation. Right now, get 40% off qualifying installations in 12 months, no interest, or 0% APR for 48 months. Find out more at PellaVirginia.com. Some restrictions apply.
You can only stare at the same conference room walls for so long. At Back Nine Golf in Midlothian, business works a little differently. Host your next client meeting, corporate event, or team get-together in a space built for productivity and play. Bring your laptop, use the conference room, close the deal. Then head to the simulator bays and keep the conversation going over a round of golf. No rainouts, no splitting up the group, no ordinary meeting space. Back Nine Golf, behind Sam's Club in Midlothian, where golf never sleeps. Google Back Nine Midlothian to learn more. Tune in to the Henrico Huddle with Dennis Bickmeyer the last Wednesday of each month, afternoons on 106.1 ESPN, or updates online at henricosea.com.
Your trash is treasure at CNC Colored Recycling. From copper wire to radiator ends, cans to lead batteries, CNC Colored Recycling will pay cash or check for your unwanted scrap metal. No load is too large or too small. Don't dump it, recycle it, and get paid at CNC Colored Recycling, just south of Maple Street on Route 1 in Ashland. Free local container service is available too. CNC Colored Recycling, open every weekday and a half day on Saturday. Check the latest cash scrap prices online right now at cccullet.com. That's CCCULLET.
Do you love football and want to be part of the game and give back to your community? Become an official in Central Virginia. We have a nationwide shortage of officials, causing some games not able to be played on Friday nights. You'll work and train with veteran officials, get great exercise on the field, and you'll earn extra income working the game you love. Active duty military and veterans could receive free uniforms and gear. Training classes start June 22nd. To register, visit cvfoa.org and click register to become an official. That's Central Virginia Football Officials Association, cvfoa.org.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks so you can make smarter decisions faster. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver from New Nordic, the delicious daily detox that will keep you feeling your best. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon or pick up some at your local CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in. Cool as can be. Tap GoodRx. Saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Looking to grow your local business? Let's team up. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, host of Fitz the Bill on ESPN Richmond. Together, we can craft on-air campaigns that drive customers right through your doors. Ready to collaborate? Email me, jack.fitzpatrick@summitmediacorp.com.
Welcome back in Fitz the Bill on this Tuesday morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Allen alongside as we head on out to the phone line. Jasmine Wimbish, NBA writer for CBS Sports, joining us on this Tuesday morning as we get set for the Knicks Spurs, a rematch of the 1999 NBA Finals. Jasmine, good morning. How are you doing on this Tuesday?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for the matchup. How about you?
I'm doing great. I was saying before we brought you on, never wrong, just early. We were just a year early in this all because we thought the Knicks would do it last year, but here they are. They've become the most dominant team that we've ever seen over an 11-game span, regular season or postseason. I forget if we really dived into it the last time we talked, but did you expect the Knicks to kind of turn it on in this way after going down 2-1 to the Hawks?
Absolutely not. I mean, I know that we were big believers in them last year, but I think I went too far the other direction this year just because of what happened last year against the Pacers and everything. But yeah, I mean, I did not pick them to win in the second round. And once they got past the second round, though, I will say that I would have picked them to beat Cleveland. So that wasn't that surprising to me. But them sweeping the Sixers like they did, sweeping the Cavaliers like they did, I mean, it's undeniable what this team's been able to do over the last 11 games. And they're every bit a proven, contender to go against the Spurs. If OKC would have won, I would have said the same thing. Like, we can't keep overlooking the Knicks just because they're in the Eastern Conference, which is what a lot of people are doing right now.
How do you think they match up with San Antonio? Do you think they match up better with San Antonio, or would you have would Knicks fans have preferred to see OKC?
No, I think they match up better with San Antonio. I think that the depth that OKC has, despite the injuries that OKC was coming into the series with, I still think that would have been a tough matchup for them. So I think that they match up a bit better just because, one, I think they have the veteran experience on their team. San Antonio is still a really young team. They've made it this far, and that lack of experience hasn't really mattered, but this is a different stage. This is the NBA Finals. So we'll see if that, if nerves start to settle in with some of those younger players. I think that the only thing that is going to be difficult, which is on everybody's mind, is how are they going to guard Victor Wembanyama? I think that's going to be the biggest question over this series, especially with Mitchell Robinson having a broken pinky, which still nobody knows how he got that. But I think that's going to be the biggest question mark for them. But they have size on the perimeter. They've got a lot of length with their wings. I think that they match up well in the backcourt. So I think the biggest question mark is just trying to contain Wemby. And if they are able to do that, or at least, let him go off for his, stats that he's going to get, but maybe keep everybody else in check, they have a good chance in the series.
Jasmine, that's a great question of how would you guard Wemby? Like, if you're the coach on the sideline, are you going, all right, guys, let him get his 20 and 20 tonight in 30 minutes, 35 minutes, whatever it might be, and let's make sure that no one else gets theirs? Or do you try and throw out all the stops? Maybe it's OG Anunoby on him and have him play the best defensive game of his career? Is it, I don't think Karl Anthony Towns is capable of guarding Wemby, but maybe you throw him there. I just think he'd pick up his 6 fouls in a blink of an eye. But how would you go about trying to guard Wemby?
Yeah, I think you put OG on him to start, and you see what that matchup looks like one-on-one, and I think that we'll probably see the Knicks probably try and throw an extra body at him to try and make him uncomfortable. We saw in the OKC series that Wemby did get more comfortable with the physicality that teams are going to start throwing at him, so it's not necessarily you can kind of, just kind of shove him around and bully him around, because we've seen over the course of this postseason that he's getting more comfortable working with that physicality despite his slimmer frame. So I think it's really going to be on OG to kind of take that one-on-one opportunity there, and then we're going to kind of see what the Knicks go to from there. Because if you're trying to guard him under the rim, they don't have the size to contend with that. They don't. It doesn't matter. Even if Karl Anthony Towns in there, like you said, he's probably going to get 6 fouls before the first half is over. So I think they're probably going to start with just OG on him, see how that works. And if he goes off in the first half, then Mike Brown's going to have to make some drastic adjustments. But even if you do that, if you throw a second body at Wemby, then you're surrendering something on the perimeter, somebody like Dylan Harper, who's been playing phenomenal for the Spurs as a rookie throughout this postseason. So it's going to be an ever-changing battle for the Knicks defensively.
Jasmine Wimbish joining us on this Tuesday morning. And San Antonio, we've mentioned a couple times already, their youth. This is a team that has quite literally never been here before, and they're playing like they don't know any better, where they just keep winning games they probably shouldn't win against OKC, Game 6, Game 7. Like, they are a young team, but they are playing like an older team. Like, they've grown up in front of our eyes, it feels like, over the last 2 months or so. What has it been about this team that has gotten them to this point? Is it the leadership of Wemby? Is it the Greg Popovich random pop-ins, it seems like, in the locker room after some of these losses? Is it that Mitch Johnson is just a darn good basketball coach? In your view, what is it about the Spurs that has helped them get to this point?
I mean, I think it's a mixture of all things, right? I mean, Wemby obviously, covers a lot of things for San Antonio, both on offense and on defense. But I do think that there is something to that championship DNA that kind of stays within that Spurs, organization. You've got guys like Tim Duncan, you've got Manu Ginobili. All of these guys still kind of hang around this team. And so this culture that they've created in San Antonio is very much like no one is bigger than the team. Everyone's playing for each other. Like, they're a young team, but they all have a very locked in, like, championship mentality that you don't see with teams this young. So it's fascinating to watch because you take somebody like Dylan Harper, who I think is probably going to be the X factor for the Spurs in this series. And the things that he's been able to do in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, this dude went off and was basically the reason that they won Game 1 of that series. And he just continues to impress. He basically plugs any hole that the Spurs need him to do. Oh, you need him to go off for 24 points? That's fine. You need him to get like 7 steals in a game? Okay, cool. He could do that. He can be the connector on offense. They just have a lot of these guys that are willing to sacrifice their own opportunities for the betterment of the team. And I think that's why they've gotten so far in the playoffs.
Yeah, they've been fun to watch. They have been. Wemby does whatever Wemby does, and then Harper when he got healthy. Then what Fox brought to the team when he came back from his injury, Castle just all of a sudden stopped turning the ball over at a 10 turnover per game clip. Some of the key factors that you're keying in on for this series, like what do you think San Antonio needs to do in order to win? What the Knicks need to do in order to win?
So for San Antonio, I'm looking at, are they able to get out in transition? They're the best team in the playoffs so far in getting out in transition, and they're a far better team getting downhill than they are in half-court offense. So if they're able to, get this game to their pace, and you've got Wemby coming downhill, that is a truly unstoppable force. And so I think that's where the Spurs kind of find their angle and their advantage in the series. For the Knicks, this is going to be a series where they're going to need to make a lot of three-pointers, and they've been red hot so far in the playoffs. But I don't know if they're going to be able to sustain that in the finals. If they are, then this is a really close series that they're going to be able to win, because with Wemby on the floor in the paint, they're not going to get a lot of paint looks. They're not going to get a lot of shots in the mid-range like Jalen Brunson likes. The Spurs are a team that deter those types of shots with Wemby on the floor. So they're going to have to rely heavily on their three-point shooting. So guys like Josh Hart are going to have to knock down their looks. Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson's going to have to become more of a three-point shooter than he's ever been in the playoffs. Those are the things that the Knicks are going to have to do if they're going to want an advantage against Wemby and his size when he's on the floor.
Jasmine Wimbish joining us on this Tuesday morning. And Jasmine, the question that I think is hovering over this entire series is the rest versus rust question. It's just something we've got to talk about, considering New York has sweep after sweep. I think it's going to be 9 days between their final game of the Eastern Conference Finals and Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Meanwhile, San Antonio was in a dogfight, 7-game series, as we all know. Do you buy the rest versus rust argument? Are you on either side, or do you think that's all blown out of proportion?
No, I think I believe in it a little bit. I mean, we saw it in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Knicks had so much rest against the Cavs, and the Cavs kind of came out and were dominating for 3.5 quarters of that game. And then the Knicks, gave the ball to Jalen Brunson, and he took over. So there is something to that there. I think also for San Antonio's side, coming off a grueling series like they are, with not a lot of rest in between, is something also to look at. I don't know. there's a lot of factors here, right? Like, we don't know if Mitchell Robinson's going to be healthy for game one. So that right there kind of puts the Knicks at a disadvantage, despite the fact that they have all of this rest that they've been having for the last 9 days. So I think it's going to kind of even out on both sides because there's so many factors going in. But no, I definitely think that there is something there. I think that the Knicks have to be careful not to come out too rusty, and especially being on the road, maybe that'll give them the motivation to really make sure that they're not just kind of, going through the motions and, get caught with the first punch by the Spurs.
And we've brought up Mitchell Robinson a couple of times. You kind of made the joke. We have no idea how this guy broke his pinky finger. And
right.
He's undergone surgery. He's going to try and play with the brace. It's going to be fascinating to see how impactful the Mitchell Robinson minutes are. But for New York to win, how impactful do those Mitchell Robinson minutes need to be when he's paired up against Wemby?
Yeah, I mean, he's the one reliable defender, the one, the first and last line of defense you have going against Victor Wembanyama, because Cat can't do it by himself. So if he's able to be at least like 90% healthy, that's a huge positive for the Knicks. But the question is, we don't know what that's going to look like. He's got to come out. He's got to play with the brace. This is a guy who is one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. He needs to be out there getting those second chance opportunities for the Knicks. He's got to be aggressive on defense going against Wemby, but is he going to be limited with that brace on his pinky? There's also the factor of, if he gets in the fourth quarter and he's not able to shoot normally because of the brace on his hand, are the Spurs just going to go to hack a Mitch and just put him at the free throw line to get him out of the game? So those are going to be questions that we're going to watch. If he plays in game one, that's going to be interesting to see. If he plays later in the series, maybe that means that he'll be fully healthy, so those won't be limitations for him. But the Knicks absolutely need him out there to put a dent into trying to slow down Victor Wembanyama.
And now the final question here, the question that is obligatory at this point: who do you got winning? How many? If you're comfortable with providing that.
Yeah, I did a segment yesterday, and I was going back and forth. I still have completely undecided on who I'm picking. Yesterday, I said the Knicks. Today, after doing, a little bit more film study, I think I might go with the Spurs now. I think I might go with the Spurs in 7. I think Victor Wembanyama gets his first Finals MVP, and then we're having a very different conversation about his legacy going forward. I mean, this is his third year in the NBA, and he's going to potentially grab his first championship. That's insane. So I'm going to go with the Spurs. I'm going to go in 7 games.
I like it. I picked Spurs in 7. I've kind of flip-flopped too, but I've been on the Spurs bandwagon now for about 4 months. I feel like I can't get off now, and I especially can't get off because, like you, with the Knicks, when they went down 2-1 to the Hawks, I sold all of my Knicks stock. I think I overcorrected. I said, I'm out on this team. And, of course, this is the year they make it to the finals. So they'll punish me either way. So I got Spurs in 7 too. Jasmine, really appreciate your time on this Tuesday. Enjoy the NBA Finals tomorrow. We'll talk again soon.
All right, thanks. Bye. Of
course, there goes Jasmine Wimbish, NBA writer for CBS Sports. Always appreciate her time. I also appreciate that we're both on Spurs in 7. Spurs in 7 just kind of feels like it because the Knicks are going to have answers for what San Antonio does. There'll be games where, especially I think later on in the series when Mitchell Robinson gets a little healthier, that they're going to be able to kind of take away Wemby as much as you really can take away Wemby, and they'll find some wins later on. But what we saw in OKC series, right? Like San Antonio had an answer to everything. Sure, it may have taken an extra game or two than what you would have really liked, but Wemby got played physically. What did he do? It took him a hit. It took him a couple of games, but then he figured it out and he went on to have a really good game 6 and game 7. You had Dylan Harper miss a couple of games, and then the rookie evolved into becoming the second option off the bench. De'Aaron Fox looked a whole heck of a lot healthier in game 7 than he did in game 3 when he returned. Like, San Antonio's got answers. San Antonio, their trend line's going up. And for New York, we don't really know what their trend line looks like because we haven't seen them in 9 days. I don't believe rust is fully a thing, but I think for San Antonio, they're going to be tough to overcome. A 7-game instant classic type of series. Maybe I'm being greedy, but I would love to see that. Give me Spurs in 7. All right, we'll get a quick break in. Step aside. Be back with more Tuesday Fits the Bill action right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Looking for the perfect golf course? Check out RVA's best kept secret, Queenfield Golf Club, just a few minutes past Mechanicsville. Reserve your tee time today at queenfieldgolf.com.
This is advertising material. When a doctor's mistake leaves you or someone you love seriously hurt, you need a fighter in your corner. Alexander Shinar Trial Attorneys has been holding negligent doctors and hospitals accountable and getting families the justice they deserve. The consultation is free. They don't get paid until you do. Call 877-222-6666 or visit alexwins.law. Don't wait, alexwins.law.
This is advertising material. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes. Every case is different. Philip George's licensed attorney in Virginia is responsible for legal work. Office is located in Norfolk.
It's bow time. Bojangles is shaking up breakfast with the return of its sausage Bowberry biscuit. Savory, sizzling, country-style sausage topped with a drizzle of sweet icing, served on a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit stuffed with bowberries. Just when you thought you knew where breakfast was going, Bojangles flips the script. Right now, get 2 sausage Bowberry biscuits for just $5. But hurry to Bojangles, because even though breakfast is served all day, this deal is only here for a limited time. Order yours today. It's bow time.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-498-6548. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-498-6548. That's 800-498-6548. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This has been Ingram with the Atlanta Braves. Keep it locked here on 106.1 ESPN, your home for the Atlanta Braves all season long.
Oh, another free one. Thanks, dog. You always hook me up.
Another hour of the fun stuff on deck.
Another one of your nonsensical rambling stories.
And another round for everyone on me. I don't want to hear another peep.
Okay, all right, here's another one.
Another thing before we get up on out of here on this Tuesday morning. Got to keep talking some NBA Finals as the Spurs and Knicks get set tomorrow night. Game 1 in San Antonio. Jasmine, NBA writer for CBS Sports, just gave us her pick. Spurs in 7. I've got Spurs in 7. Alan, I forgot what you went with. Were you Spurs in 7 as well?
Spurs in 6.
Spurs in 6. We've got Chris Persianen. He joined us last week, I think it was, at the beginning of the week to talk all things New York Knicks, talk about the vibe around MSG after the Knicks won in 4 games, the sweep over Cleveland. We'll get Chris's pick tomorrow, kind of put them all together, see where everyone's leaning with it. We'll got to get Matt's pick, the host of the mid-major matchup, maybe Lakes too, and get a full ESPN Richmond breakdown of where everyone's leaning. But for the Knicks, man, I just don't see how they have enough answers for Victor Wembanyama. I think they've got enough to get 3 wins. I don't know if they have enough to get 4. Karl Anthony Towns is so good offensively, but defensively, he picks up so many boneheaded fouls. I mean, he's going to play his way off the court. And if he's off the court, and then you got to rely on Mitchell Robinson, who is kind of the inverse of Karl Anthony Towns, right? He's so good defensively, but he's a black hole offensively. Heck, you might just go to Hack-a-Mitch the second he gets in with that brace on his hand. You're stuck between a rock and a hard place when it gets between your 2 big men. And I think San Antonio is going to be able to exploit that. If I'm Mike Brown, I realize I have that, Alan, and I quickly just approach the games as, all right, let Wemby, let him get his, maybe try to cut down on his rebounding a little bit, but let's let him get his. We're not letting Castle, we're not letting Harper, we're not letting Fox, Keldon Johnson, Sham Penny, a.k.a. Sham Dalla, we're not letting them get going at all. Like we are taking out, we're taking them out, and we're forcing Wemby to beat us by himself.
Yeah, the thing here typically, when you're in this position, we usually go, well, the team with the most experience. Well, in this case, neither one of them really have experience getting to this moment. The one negative on the Spurs is that for the most part, their core members have no championship experience at this level, and the pressure could get to them. But they can offset that by having guys like Harrison Barnes, even Fox getting to the game 7, I think was a big moment. But like Harrison Barnes can talk to these guys about the pressure of winning a championship in the moment of winning a championship. Mike Brown can do that as a coach, but I don't, once you let these guys on the floor, things can can unravel real quick. So I think this will be one of those games or one of those series where we look back on it and the storyline is going to be, well, they had this veteran player handling this and et cetera. I think it's going to be a whole lot of factors that factor into this equation.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point because Mike Brown can be like, all right, guys, this is what the lights are like. This is what it's going to be like. That completely gets thrown out the window when the players take the court, where Harrison Barnes can be like, all right, this is how it's going to be broken down. This is how it's going to happen. And bring it to you from a player perspective. So that goes a long way for San Antonio. Let's go out to the phone lines here on this Tuesday morning. We've got Bruce on line 1. Good morning, Bruce. How we doing?
Good morning, Fitz. Good morning, Alan. Hey, guys. Of course, we are going to talk about the association, and you guys are all on this, man. It will likely be the Spurs in 7. But one of the areas that I'm going to transition, I'm going to shift a little bit. I cannot wait. I heard Alan say this morning that he bet on a soccer match in Africa. I can't wait for Fitz and Alan to break down what's going to happen in the next 9 days. You're going to have the NBA in the heat of game 3, no pun intended, in the heat of game 3, and you're going to have the presence of the World Cup coming to the States. Guys, I'm going to tell you, man, this World Cup thing, it's coming to Philadelphia. We had tried to get tickets to go and see it in Philadelphia. Hotel rooms have tripled in cost for overnight stays. The game tickets, $800 to see a World Cup match? It is crazy what we got going on in the sports society. So I can't wait for next Monday. You got game 3 next Monday. And I know at some point Fitz and Allen are going to have to dig their toes in, pun intended, to the World Cup.
Oh, yes. We will definitely be doing that, Bruce. Appreciate you calling in. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. We had Tosin. He came on, what was it, last week, tail end of last week, to talk all things World Cup. We'll have to tap him on the shoulder, bring him back in to talk some more as the World Cup does begin next Thursday, June 11th. But look, I do have some thoughts that I could get off my chest right now when it comes to the World Cup and the price gouging they're doing. The game's never going to grow. The whole reason U.S. soccer wanted this here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico was because they wanted the game to grow here in the Americas, more so in the USA. Like, they wanted the game to grow, and yet you're pricing out the people that you need to target. You're pricing out, Bruce just said it, the hotel rooms have tripled. The game tickets are $800. Let me tell you this, Bruce. Just wait to the day of game. Go up to Philly. I know that's a risk, but like, there's no way. None of these stadiums have sold out because they're price gouging. It's not going to grow the game. It is a shame. I've got other words I could use, but it is a darn shame that the World Cup and all of these venues and everything like that are making the World Cup so inaccessible for the everyday person.
It's the most American thing I could think of.
You're not wrong there. Price gouging.
Make it not affordable for your
90%,
your target demographic.
Just utterly absurd.
Thank God for television. And do we have to do a lot of subscriptions?
I'm shocked we don't have to do a subscription for every game or something. The way that they're treating these tickets. I mean, I don't think any stadium in America has sold out, and I think there are still all tickets above. I think the cheapest ticket probably is $250.
Yeah, hey, you're right, Texter. I forgot all about our guy OG Anunoby in his ring in Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
Disrespectful to
Thank
OG.
you.
I apologize, OG. I apologize, OG.
My bad. That was young OG, too.
Yeah, but hey, experience is
Yeah.
experience. He's right. No,
thank you,
never mind.
Texter.
Yeah, for sure.
Really, thank you, Texter, because
I keep forgetting about that because every time I think Siakam and Kawhi.
Siakam, Kawhi, and Scotty Barnes is the one they drafted after that. So Scotty Barnes is the young kid up there. But my bad, OG.
OG needs who was the celebrity that said she liked them and then he just balled out after that?
Was it Olivia Rodrigo?
No, it was somebody. It was the girl from Devil Wears Prada.
Anne Hathaway?
Yeah, it was Anne Hathaway.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
I remember he had a crush on someone. I thought it was a more more young actress singer.
Yeah, she went on the Tonight Show. She shouted out OG Anunoby, and I swear he's been nuclear ever since. Like seriously.
All right, good for him. OG Anunoby will need to be nuclear in this series.
Man, I disrespected him. Hopefully he don't hear that.
He'd be coming after you.
All right, I take it back. Spurs in 7.
Spurs. No, now you got Knicks in 7 because you disrespected OG so much. And Bruce didn't even mention, too, we've got the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. Those are coming up. So over the next couple of weeks, we're going to have so many things going on, so many high-profile events between the World Cup, NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Finals, everything like that. Right now, the Hurricanes, minus 155 to win the Stanley Cup. The Vegas Golden Knights, plus 130. If you're looking at tonight's game, as it's in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Lenovo Center, Carolina is minus 155 to win on the puck line. Vegas is plus 130. So should be a fun game between those two as the Golden Knights, arguably the most successful expansion team in the history of all sports. And I don't think that's a crazy thing to say, actually.
Nah,
I'm going to take out that arguably.
They've been crazy.
The most successful expansion team in the history.
Hurricanes gotta wrap this thing up, man. They've had so many opportunities to be in this position.
I know I made some people mad earlier, but the Hurricanes kind of feel like the Capitals of this era.
I'm telling you, man, if they don't get it done, it's going to be a lot of heads rolling.
Yeah,
probably.
and friend of mine's a big Hurricanes fan, so I got to check in on them, see how they're doing heading into this, because we were watching some games earlier this season together, and there was a lot of high hopes, and those hopes have been dashed plenty of times in the past. And Vegas just dispatched Colorado with so much ease. Carolina got to be a little nervous. You got to get this first win, break up the streak Vegas is going on. All right, that'll do it for Fitz the Bill on this Tuesday morning. Keep it locked right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. We are where Richmond talks sports. Tonight, 7:15 p.m. first pitch. The Braves play host to the Toronto Blue Jays. Hear all of that action right here on your exclusive home for the Atlanta Braves. Coming up at 3, we've got the Lake Lewis Jr. show from 3 to 4. From 4 until 6, it's the mid-major match show. So don't touch that dial. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here, 106.1 ESPN Richmond. Between now and then, some of the best sports talk radio here in the RVA. We'll talk to you guys same time, same place tomorrow. Chris Persianen, he'll be joining to talk all things NBA Finals as that tips off tomorrow night as well. We'll talk to you then, 8 a.m., 106.1 ESPN.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL.